People, organisations and plants share one interesting thing in common. They flourish in diversity and connectedness of their ecosystem. Just like tree stumps kept alive through the nutrients provided by their connections to other trees, our networks provide vital support to us individually and help with the crisis we face collectively. Networks are about survival and resilience. Working with others is also what gives us hope and gets our imagination going about what the world could be. By coming together, we find the potential to create a different future. A strong network becomes greater than the sum of its parts. The ecological word for this is synergy. This word captures the idea that in the multitude of relationships between diverse kinds of life, we experience the real power of nature. The more skills, experiences and worldviews we bring together, the more resilient, adaptable and joyful we can be in our communities. But how do we manage that? The reality is that in many places, people and organisations are isolated. They feel like they have to tackle immense challenges on their own. Often in communities when people do connect, it is with one or two others, which leaves many places fragmented. Different organisations or groups don't connect, and people often struggle to connect with each other even within the same organisation. This is also the case with people working on different aspects of the food system. The big picture can be missed, along with the opportunity to work together to make a real difference. People can't collaborate, share experiences of what worked and didn't work. They compete for resources and funding, duplicate efforts, yet many will still fall through the cracks altogether, feeling that they have no support and no capacity to try to create change. So how can we do better? There are a couple of models. A common network pattern looks like a hub with spokes. One organisation, often a large charity or a local council, will have the time and resources to develop connections to many different people and groups. This kind of network has a lot of strengths. It makes it easy to communicate with people, get a quick picture of what is needed, and coordinate action. A hub and spoke network can make a lot happen in a very short time. But is this the best if you're thinking about long term? It centralises all the knowledge and power in the network. Everything relies on just one person or organisation. How do they choose who is included and prioritise decisions? Even with the best will in the world, an overworked hub can become a barrier and a gatekeeper, controlling access to resources and relationships. It's hard for network members to meaningfully take on responsibility or leadership, which in turn often cements the feeling that the centre have to manage everything. There's also the question of synergy. Where does the energy and passion come from that leads to inspiration? What happens when the centre loses its funding, or the person holding all those relationships falls ill or decides to move on? You're potentially behind where you started. What is the network we need to build if we want to make lasting change? We're aiming for a dense web of connections between and within organisations. Individuals and organisations have developed the relationships they need to easily reach out to each other directly to collaborate, innovate and share knowledge, experience and tips on problem solving. Ideally, this network also maintains lots of connections to organisations and people outside the core to allow the network as a whole to benefit from their expertise and to contribute to achieving change at a bigger scale. So how do we go about building this network? In some ways, it's quite simple. As you build relationships with others, you learn more about their interests and the challenges. Who's working on the same things? Who could help them? Then you bring them together. Even if this doesn't come naturally, with a little effort, joining the dots is something we can all do. Because each line is a relationship. Building relationships is the same as supporting a strong network. It takes respect, care, time for other people and time for trust to develop. Working together towards a common goal. Sharing experiences and expertise. Being curious and open to learning new things or seeing issues in a new light. There are a few simple checks you can do to assess the health of your network. Does your network reflect the diversity of your community? If not, reach out and find out more about the communities who are missing, the issues they face, and how you might work together. Are you moving towards a more connected and resilient network pattern? You can bring people together with food, stories, or shared challenges to start building more connections between groups. Do members feel ownership over the network? Think about all that needs doing and how you can support others to take on a more meaningful role. Supporting healthy networks is something that anyone can do, and there are a lot of resources to help. We've found that networks are not only crucial to help achieve what you want to do, but a network will support you to do bigger and better things that you could ever have imagined. Be brave, build connections, and let's work to make the world better together.